Hello and welcome back to the Acca Backer here on the Racing Post YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. This is the show that brings together our top tipsters from the Racing Post Sport Desk to hopefully put together a winning football accumulator for you to have a little go on this weekend. Mark, you were with Liam last week and we did come up with a winning fourfold accumulator. That must feel good.
Yeah, we're never in doubt, was it? We're getting in that Cho's 99th minute goal or whenever it was, and there was late drama for Oxford as well. So you need late goals.
We slagged off VAR this season, but it did help us last week.
Yeah, not me. No, I'm all for it.
Good. Anyway, let's get into this week's selections. We've got a fourfold and also a sixfold where the gents will put together a wild card each to hopefully boost them prices a little bit. Mark, what's your first selection?
I'm going to keep it simple. Never ignore the obvious. Liverpool away to Bournemouth. I suppose the one negative, we might as well get that out of the way first of all, is that Liverpool played on Wednesday night and Bournemouth played on Tuesday. And I do think that there is something in that, generally speaking, but Bournemouth need more than that, in my opinion. I mean, to lose to 10-man Crystal Palace is a horrendous result, really. 4 defeats on the spin, 1 win in 10 for Eddie Howe's side. They hate playing Liverpool. Last 4 matches against Liverpool, it's aggregate 14-0 to the Merseysiders. And then we get on to Liverpool. We rested players against Everton. Salah and Firmino are on the bench, no problem. Still score 5 goals. They've only dropped points against Manchester United this season. They're looking absolutely rampant at the top of the table. I mean, at some stage, they can't keep winning, and that makes me slightly nervous. But if that's the only reason I can find not to have a bet on somebody is that they can't keep winning, I'm happy to sort of ride it out another week.
Dan, Liverpool have looked incredibly strong. Everyone knows that this season. But Bournemouth have looked really weak at times. I was speaking to Bruce while he was getting battered on the pool table the other day, and he was saying he's had a little bet on for them to go down this season.
Yeah, I mean, they've got some tough fixtures coming up as well. I think they've got Manchester City, I think there's the next game, isn't it, after Liverpool. It's funny how quick times change, though, because you go back like a month and everyone was talking about Eddie Howe, doing a great job. They were sort of pushing towards top 6, not far from the top 6 in the league, and people, he was getting sort of touted for big jobs, wasn't he? The Spurs job he was linked with, for a short spell, in that short window before Mourinho was given the job. So, we'll have to wait and see. I don't see them going down. I think they've got too much up front to be relegated. Liverpool are the first selection in the Acca Backer this week. Let us know if you're also on Liverpool this weekend. Dan, what's your first selection? I'm going to go with QPR at home to Preston. You look at the league table, QPR are 16th, Preston 6th, but the Championship, as we all know, it's a very division where there's not a lot of difference between a lot of the teams. There's only 6 points actually between QPR and Preston. QPR have gone 7 games without a win, which is obviously a down side for them. But their last game, they went to Derby away. Derby had won 5 home games in a row before playing at home to QPR. QPR drew 1-1, played very well by all accounts, were well worth that result. And the negative really for QPR has been their defending. They've been letting in too many goals. But I think in this game, Preston's defending could be just as bad because they've got so many injuries at the moment. You got Patrick Vale was the latest added to the list of injuries. He was signed from Charlton, great signing for them. He's joined Ben Davies, who's been linked with some Premier League clubs. That's the 2 main centre backs out. Darnell Fisher's out as well. Andrew Hughes. There's Tom Clark, who's the captain. He's a long-term absence. That's 5 defenders out for Preston, and it's starting to show in their performances. You look at they lost away to Derby 1-0, lost 4-0 at Hull. On the Monday night, the penalty decision, I was actually pleased because I backed West Brom to beat them, but Alex Neil set them up to defend, to try and kind of like dig out a result. Didn't quite work. A harsh penalty decision went against them. But at the moment, they don't look quite right. So all the injuries they've got, confidence is dropping. And QPR, although they're a bit dodgy at the back, offensively, I think they've got more than Preston. You look at players like Abire Eze, I think, who's one of the best players outside the Premier League, got fantastic touch and balance, gets goals to them. Jordan Hugill, Naki Wells score plenty of goals as well up front for them. Elias Chair I really like as well, good attacking midfield player. So I just feel that this is a game QPR, although they've gone 7 without a win, Preston's injuries could make it in QPR's favour.
No, definitely. You spoke there about the West Brom tip. Thanks for that. And also, if you want top tips throughout the week, make sure you head over to the Racing Post website and click on the Racing Post Sport tab. You'll find everything over there. QPR go in the Acca Backer. Mark, your second selection.
Yep, to Germany, Leipzig, absolutely fine. Lighting up the Bundesliga, I'm going for them to beat Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim lost their beaten 5-1 recently by Mainz, which is a bad enough result in itself. The fact that Mainz had a player sent off in the first half
makes it even worse.
Yeah, absolute shambles, really. I mean, they've previously been doing okay, but they're taking a big step up in class here against a Leipzig team already through to the last 16 of the Champions League. They're winning last 4 games in the Bundesliga domestically. They're scoring a lot of goals. That's what I like to. I don't mind backing short teams when they've got a lot of firepower. I think it's the teams that eke out victories. They're not the ones you want to be backing. I don't think at short prices. And with Timo Werner sort of leading the line, Patrick Schick scored a great goal last week as well. A lot of quality in this Leipzig team, and they're really well coached. Julian Nagelsmann probably end up at Bayern Munich one day.
Are they solid at the back as well?
No, I was trying to gloss over that. Look, in the Bundesliga, generally speaking, it's a sort of the goals per game average is higher than, say, in the Premier League and some of the other leagues around Europe. Most teams are sort of blessed in the attacking department. Most of the coaches want to coach attack, and it becomes quite a fast-paced game. It's why it's so popular. It's why so many people head over there and watch matches, from these shores. And look, Leipzig are not the best at the back. Ethan Ampadu played for them at centre-half in their last Champions League game. Didn't do great. But overall, they've got a much better balance to them than Hoffenheim.
RB Leipzig go in the Acca Backer, down to a team that helped us last week and hopefully will help us again this week.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit like Mark was mentioning with Liverpool. Sometimes you're worried when a run's going to come to an end, but the other side of it is if a team's playing that well, then stick with them. I mean, they're 16 games in all competitions, unbeaten Oxford. Hell of a run. I mean, they actually had a slow start. If they hadn't have had the slow start to the season, they'd probably be right up there in the top 2 positions. They're in the playoffs at the moment. In that run, I mean, they've had some incredible results. 6-0 away to Lincoln. They beat West Ham 4-0 at home in the EFL Cups. They're playing some great football. Won their last 4 matches as well. Got threats everywhere up front. Tarek Fosu-Henry's an ex-Charlton player, a brilliant wide player for them. James Henry, who's twilight of his career now, but got a lot of quality for that division as well. Matty Taylor, a good target man as well. They've got lots of attacking threats. Shrewsbury, they're a team, they're not a bad side, they're solid-ish at the back, but they're a team that have not been, since the end of August, they've not been higher than 11th and not been lower than 15th. So they're kind of a
dull.
Box, dull is probably the right word. And the one thing they've had going for them is they've been quite solid defensively. The worry would be the last league game, they lost 4-3 at home to Bristol Rovers, so it even looks like that's going out the window a little bit. So against a team like Oxford, who don't look that short a price to me to win the game. Not long odds on. I think Oxford are a solid bet here.
No, definitely Oxford helped us last week and hopefully will help us to more 4-fold successes this week. That will return about 15-2. Please do shop around for the best prices. Now let's get onto the 6-fold, where both Mark and Dan will add a wild card to that 4-fold selection to get a really big price. Mark, what are we looking at here?
I've been banned from putting. I wanted to put up a goal score. I've been banned, so we've got to stick. So Owen Doyle, for anyone that's watching, Owen Doyle for Swindon to score 2 or more, or a hat trick. But in terms of the selection, I'm going to go for Barnsley to win at Cardiff. Now, Cardiff actually picked up it in recent weeks and got a great result last week, much to my chagrin because I was on Nottingham Forest, but they won that game 1-0. I'm surprised when I saw it, and then I looked at the stats. Forest had 32 shots in that game, so I'm looking at it thinking something goes wrong. Oh yeah, you've held on, and you can imagine the flow of the game. They're happy with what they've got, but still to concede 32 shots is a worrying statistic, I think. And Barnsley, on the other hand, they're in the relegation zone, but I don't think they're hopeless in the Championship, not by any stretch of the imagination. And they won last week against Hull. That maybe was just what was missing. The confidence returning from that. The market really likes them. The market doesn't see them as a nailed-on relegation team, and I tend to think that they're probably right.
Definitely. Barnsley go in the wildcard selections. And Dan, we'll finish our 6-fold with your wildcard selection. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, you're trying to unearth something that not a lot of people are going to see. I mean, at the moment, I've gone for Walsall to win at Port Vale in League 2. Walsall down at 19th, Port Vale at 9th. So you're thinking, this they're going to have to play well to win this. But Port Vale, teams down in that level, you rely a lot on certain players. I've been reading a lot of their, Port Vale message boards and things like that. So what supporters say, a lot of them say, look, Luke Joyce in midfield is an important player. He's played every game for them this season. He's suspended for this game, so puts a bit of a hole in there. I mean, Manny Oyeleke, who was a big player from last season in central midfield, he's hardly played this season. He's injured as well, so there's kind of a big hole in the midfield. They're also missing another suspended player, winger David Worrell, who scored 3 goals in his last 6 games, so he's been playing well. So there's a negative side there that Port Vale may not be quite as good as they've been recently. And the last league game, they were poor as well. They lost 2-1 away to Scunthorpe, for a lowly team in a not too dissimilar position to Walsall. And Walsall, despite their lowly league position, before they'd lost narrowly to Oxford 1-0 in the FA Cup last week, they had gone 5 games without defeat. So there's a little bit of a revival taking place there. A load of players came in, virtually a whole new team Darryl Clark put together in the summer. Was always going to take a bit of time for it to work out. Like I've said, in League 2, similar to the Championship, there's not a lot of difference between teams just above the drop zone, the teams just around the playoffs. So bearing in mind the players Port Vale got out, I just think Walsall on a bit of a better run now, a little bit overpriced.
Do you think Dan has found a gem there? Let us know down in the comments section below. Mark, thank you. Dan, thank you. That 6-fold will return about 150 to 1. As we always say, please do shop around for the best prices and do bet within your means. Gamble responsibly, people. Thank you for watching this week's episode of the Acca Backer. The postcast will also be up on the YouTube channel, so head over to that and give that a watch, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.